What's up, everybody? Benji Bruce here with SpeakingLifestyle.com. And in this video, we're going to talk about how do you create a dedicated following of super fans. What do you do? Super fans? What do you do? So I remember a while ago where I was trying to build an audience in the magician niche, the illusionist niche. And I built an email list. It was a pretty decent sized email list. And as I was marketing, I realized eventually, I'm like, they don't really seem to be all that engaged. And as I'm doing all this work, I'm like, they still don't seem to be all that engaged. And eventually it got to a point where I was like, what's the point? Why am I producing all this content? Why am I doing all this stuff when nobody responds to the emails? Nothing. Like I would ask a question, hey guys, respond to this. Hey, do you need help? Respond, whatever. I would ask the question, nobody would respond. And so I'm thinking like, people would open the emails. I checked to see, like, are people getting the damn emails? So they would open the emails, but nobody would respond. And so eventually I just deleted the whole thing. I'm like, what's the point in having this email list if nobody's freaking responded to the damn thing? Nobody was engaged. And I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I just knew nobody was really engaged. And so I used to wonder, well, what's the difference between the people who are building these audiences, building these followings to where they have like these really engaged people, like people are just engaged as all hell. They say, hey, everybody, go do this. And people do it. Hey, go click on this. They do it. And I used to wonder, like, why is it? Like, how is it that some people can create a really engaging audience and other people can't? Because the more engaging your audience is, the more dedicated those fans are, the more sales you can generate, the more you can do in general. When you say like, hey, everybody go do this, they go and do it. And so that's why it's really good to create this, to make this happen. But when I started out, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what's going on? Why is nobody doing anything? And so here's the answer to that. So first off, before I tell you the answer, you have to be okay with being disliked, because no matter what, you're going to be disliked. And especially if you do this, you're going to be disliked. And the way you get over being disliked is to understand that no matter what you do, people are going to like you, no matter what. You can have humor, whatever humor you have, people are going to not like it. Sarcasm, whatever it is, they're going to say, stupid humor. Like no matter what you do, if you're really nice, people are going to say, something wrong with that person. They're too nice. So it doesn't matter what you do. People aren't going to like you. So you have to be okay with that in order to actually do this, to create a dedicated fan of to create a dedicated following of super fans. That's like a tongue twister. So here's what you do. How do you actually do this? What you need to do is you have to create emotionally charged messages. You have to do this. If you create emotionally charged messages, it hits the emotions. People are like, oh my goodness. And so I remember my best emails, like the emails that get the best responses are the ones where the emotions are driven in me and I type something out where I'm like, oh, and I type it out all emotional and everything. And then I sit there and I think about it. So I pause because I know I'm emotional in that moment where I'm typing. And I pause. I'm like, should I send this thing? And then I just send it. I'm like, well, whatever. I just hit send. And then, of course, it always gets a lot of responses. No matter what emotionally charged email I send, it always gets a lot of responses. Like one of the ones that got a huge response was when I talked about Trump, right? And I was like, oh, Trump, blah, blah, blah. And I talked about Trump, got a huge amount of responses, like probably one of the most amount of responses I've ever gotten with the emails. Some people were like, unsubscribe me. Oh my goodness, you got to unsubscribe me. It's like politics. Oh, you're talking about bad about Trump. Oh my goodness. That's how I hear him in my voice. And so that was like one of the most in terms of the responses I get, because it was a very emotionally charged message that I sent out. So if you want to actually build this dedicated fan, you have to be okay with being disliked. And you have to start creating these emotionally charged messages. It's not about everybody liking you or disliking you or whatever. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to like you. There's going to be a lot of people who talk bad about you, but you want that small group who's going to love you. That's what you're going after. When you create these emotionally charged messages, it's like a lot of people, whatever, people are going to hate you. Oh my goodness, he's talking bad about this. You don't like Trump. Oh my goodness. A lot of people, they're going to hate you. Then a lot of people are going to like it. Like, damn, dude got balls to talk about. Oh my goodness. And then there's going to be the people who love you. The people who are going to respond like, damn, man. Oh my goodness. I thought the same thing, man. So you're looking for the people who are going to love you no matter what. like you, hate you, love you, they're all talking about you. The way you're going to create these emotionally charged messages is for you to have strong beliefs, strong opinions about things. If you don't have a strong opinion about something, you're going to be average. You're going to start talking about average stuff, talking about it in an average way, and people are going to tune out because average is normal. Nobody cares about normal. So if you are talking average, people are going to say, okay, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I get it. They're not going to feel anything. And when they don't feel anything, they don't do anything. So that's why like a lot of restaurants or just places in general, whenever something bad happens with bad customer service, the person always says something. People rarely go to a restaurant manager and say, hey man, you guys did a great job. Love it. Oh, you guys did a great job. Usually it's like, bring your restaurant manager over here. Bring your manager over. Yeah, you guys didn't fill up my glass pretty often, and it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. And so usually it's because those bad emotions, those are the emotions that hit us like a ton of bricks. Those bad emotion hits us, and then we naturally do something based on those bad emotions. And I don't know why I was talking about this, but maybe it's going to come back to me. But okay, yeah, I remember now. So basically, when you feel the emotion, it's more likely that they're going to feel the emotion. That's why my best emails that I've created, in fact, my best content in general that I've created, it comes from an emotional opinion, a strong opinion about something. And I know people are going to say like, oh, well, if you have like strong opinions and all that sort of stuff, and you're polarizing people, but aren't you going to like lose a segment of your audience and all that? Yeah, you are. So what? The people that I've seen who generate the most amount of sales, when they're speaking on stage, selling programs, courses, whatever, the people who have like really strong beliefs, the people who aren't afraid to polarize, those are the ones who create a dedicated following of super fans. That really is like a tongue twister. So it's like what you're doing is you're just creating this emotionally charged message. You don't worry about people who are going to fall off. Who cares about them? You're always focusing on the people who love you. You want the engagement. That's where the engagement comes from. The people who love you, the people who like you are going to watch you. They're going to look at you from the sidelines. The people who love you are going to actually interact with you. You want people to interact with you. That's what you're really going after. To create this emotionally charged message, what you do is you want to think about things that affect people. So you're sitting there, you're asking yourself, what affects someone directly? Because if it doesn't affect them directly, they're not going to have this emotional response. So it's similar to like DACA. If you know about DACA, it's basically, so it's like if your parents came over from Mexico and you were born here, okay, now you're like 20 years old or 21, whatever, like you'll say you graduated college and everything, but with the DACA thing, they were trying to send people with a certain president. He was trying to send those people back to Mexico. They've never even been to Mexico. They were born here. They grew up here, lived here their entire lives. They've been here through college and everything. And he was trying to send them back. And so it's like when someone hears that, but they're not directly affected by it. Like you're not Mexican. You're not directly affected by it. You're an American citizen and all. You were born in Florida or whatever. And so you're not affected by it. Well, those people who aren't affected by it, they're going to look at it, they're going to hear it and say, oh, wow, that's kind of messed up. But they're not going to do anything about it. They're simply going to look at it and say, oh, damn, that's kind of messed up. But if you're Mexican and all of a sudden you see that, you're like, oh, hell, let's get some lawyers. Let's actually start doing stuff. And so you want to think about what affects people directly. Because if it doesn't affect someone directly, then they're just not going to respond in the same way. This is why, obviously, if you talk about racism, black people are going to do something about it. If you talk about abortion, women are going to do something about it. It's always what affects someone directly. If it's indirect, then all people are going to do is just look at it and they're going to have an opinion on it. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, it's kind of messed up to someone who's 24 years old. You try to send them back to Mexico and they never even been there. Yeah, it's kind of messed up. Like that's what happened. But on the other hand, if a person is affected by it directly, they're going to actually do something about it. So you have to ask yourself, what are people truly affected by? That's what you want to talk about. Those are the opinions that you want to have, the strong opinions, the strong beliefs. That's what you're trying to do to create these emotionally charged messages. So just remember, to create this dedicated fan, this dedicated following of super fans, you want to sit down, you really want to think about, like, where are the emotions coming from inside of you? Do you have these strong opinions, these strong beliefs about something, whatever it is you're talking about? Don't be afraid to talk about that thing, and then be okay with losing people who, haters, whatever. Be okay with that, because you are focusing on the few people who love what you do. It doesn't matter what other people are saying. They may talk about you, whatever, talk bad, good, whatever. Once again, everybody is talking about you. So you have to focus on creating these emotionally charged messages. And then the way you're going to do that is by you being emotionally charged as you're creating content, as you're writing these emails. It's something that affects you. And then and of course, it affect the other person, the people who are similar to you. So that's what you're really doing to create this dedicated following of super fans. Yes, I said it right. I said it right at the end. No tongue twister or nothing like that. Boom. Super fan.